Yeah, winning the first major North American tournament, even though there's not like any invitations or point system set up yet, just the fact that you won the first national North American major event has to feel pretty good, and definitely comes with bragging rights.
Absolutely.
That is fair. Our sole undefeated player is Sabine. I believe I'd be surprised if he's not still in. Yep, he is still currently in the list. He did win his top 16 as we get started. As we said, we do have Frank Myers, who was a fan favorite Sabine pilot, against Gui Cohen with Blue Vader.
Should be fun to watch these players battle out for a spot in the top 4.
Richard is in a mirror match right now. I'm sure he's going to have another one as well. He's probably been playing mirror matches all day long.
Yeah, there has appeared to be quite a bit of Sabine, which Sabine was the leader that had the second highest total number of entries, just behind Boba.
Yeah, because we had, 40 players turn out today in Boba?
Yeah, 40 Boba Fett.
I'm not surprised that it's the most represented deck, but still, it's a good chunk of the tournament.
Yeah, it really is. There was 40 Boba and then 22 Sabine. And then the very interesting thing is there was 15 Iden decks, and not one Iden was able to make it to the top 16. I think that was a pretty big surprise.
I'm gonna be very interested to look at the final standings of everything, just because I want to see what place the highest Iden and highest Krennic players placed. I think that's going to be very interesting.
So game 1, we are ready to go. Guy will start with the initiative.
Ooh, Frank's showing off his hand a little bit, making sure we all know what he's cooking with. I respect it. Guaranteed Green Squadron, first play.
Frank is a fan favorite for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes A-Wing. Frank changing it up on us here. We
initiative. Yeesh.
We have been used to seeing the space arena on the other side, almost the whole day. Okay, there we go. So the space is going to stay on the other side. Frank trying to change it up on us.
No turn 1 for Vader, though, feels really, really bad. We do see Guy at least open or just draw a takedown and a forced choke. I would probably keep both of them because as we've seen Vader players kind of struggle with into Sabine today was they'll be forced to use either of those cards to take down whatever card comes out on 4 resources, and then they don't have a follow-up to also take out Sabine. So I think he should probably sit on both of those and just wait until he can just take them both out.
Okay.
Ooh, I think that's it. Wow. 4 blues.
Oh my goodness.
That is a great start.
What a turn 3 play for Guy. Power of the Dark Side, taking out the A-Wing and following it up with a 6/6 Sentinel.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And what's cool about this, though, is obviously we've seen Frank play before today. And as Sabine players do, they do run a lot of Saboteur stuff. They do run cards that just turn off Sentinel altogether. That being said, you still can't let this thing just go. You can try and ignore this and hit into your opponent's base as much as you want, but also on the crackback, he's going to be swinging into your base for 6. So you're going to have to address it at some point. So even if you can get around the Sentinel, you will be having to attack into this.
Definitely. I'm not sure the rest of the cards in Frank's hand, but at this point, he's probably going to try to load up the space arena, given that the ground is going to be pretty locked down.
You do have to be careful of that, though, just because you open yourself up to bombing run, and if you really overextend, it's going to be very hard for you to stabilize after that.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a tough spot for Frank. Don't want to overcommit, but going to be extremely tough to get through the lieutenant.
And something that just feels bad, and honestly, it just comes with the territory, is as Vader watching your opponent bring their leader out at 4 when you know that you have to wait until 7, especially in a Vader list with no ramp whatsoever. So you really just have to sit there and kind of just hope that you make it that far.
I think he's just going to be aggressive here with the lieutenant.
That's fair.
It goes 6 to base. This is one of those instances where if you were Sabine Green, having the option to say battalion into that sentinel would be
so good.
Really big, right? I mean, that's kind of the play that you would want to make here, and not having that option is tough. So system patrol craft in space. So now Gui has a sentinel in both arenas.
We have to see how Frank can respond. It's going to be nice because now Gui has put Frank in a position where the ball's almost in his court, right? And the fact that Gui has removal in his hand that can deal with basically whatever's left over, right? So Frank starts sacrificing his own pieces to start getting rid of Sentinels. Now Gui can just turn around and just punish him and just take out the things that he didn't attack with.
Yeah, that's a great
Saboteur
point.
Coming down. Also, once again, thank you to the 600 viewers that are hanging out with us today as we hang out and watch some really high-level gameplay for the Pro Play Games $5,000 Star Wars Unlimited Tournament here in Kissimmee, Florida.
So Spec Force Soldier did come down for Frank.
But it's an interesting time to drop him. Because it only disables Sentinel for the turn.
Here comes Medal Ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think damage was added to Gui's base.
Yeah.
From the attack.
Yeah, because I think the that's a good point.
An extra 6 damage, right, from both Sabine.
Well, they would have gone through the Sentinel unit first, but he attacked with a space unit. I don't think they did that damage yet. All right, now that Gui has survived this, I think this is when he starts dropping removal. He obviously has a lieutenant. He just drew another lieutenant, which feels really good, but I think I'd start getting rid of some problem cards.
Six resources now. Gui will be looking to deploy Vader next turn. Looks like we're going to see an open fire
on a saboteur.
Yeah. And now they are adding the base, or adding the damage onto the base. Getting the correct total. So it's 13 damage on Gui's base.
I like this play style that Gui's
Hey, Max, if you could hear me, you were breaking up again there. So here comes a surprise strike onto Sabine. maybe? One of the Sabines? So that will allow Frank to take out the lieutenant, deal an extra damage to base. Which is 3 resources open. Make an opening, taking out the Spec Force soldier. And a quick 2 off the base. Gui back down to just 12 on. And then Frank will go into base for 4 with Sabine. Frank does not have any resources open. Does have the system patrol craft, but could just claim initiative. It looks like he will attack with the patrol craft, taking out the non-buffed X-Wing. 2 damage back onto the patrol craft, and here comes For a Cause. And looks like it's only going to deal 2 damage. Definitely not the For a Cause Frank was looking for. Now he has to decide, does he want any of these cards back on top, or does he discard them? Yeah, the For a Cause in this particular deck definitely not doing the damage that we've seen it do in the Sabine green lists. So he will keep the attack pod and put it back on top. Gui will just claim the initiative. Now, Gui does have 18 damage on base, but it does feel as though he's getting very close to stabilizing. Early takedown onto Sabine.
Vader's now a live leader. Can come out and start making some plays.
Spec Force soldier down into play. We'll remove the Sentinel from System Patrol Craft. And then Gui will just throw down an Inferno 4.
Now, his Vader leader effects is also still alive, which feels really nice.
Absolutely. And that's going to be 3 damage to base. As the Alliance X-Wing gets to ignore System Patrol Craft this phase.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Gui will just swing into the X-Wing, put 3 damage on.
I'm interested to see what Frank does here, because I would assume that Gui activates Vader, killing off the space unit, 1 damage to base. It turns back to Frank, and then Gui will switch out Vader.
Yeah, there goes the X-Wing. And now Vader can come into play. Go 5 to base. Take out the Spec Force soldier.
What feels really good there is you don't even have to attack into him. It's always nice when Vader can just instantly one-shot something, basically as like a drive-by on his way to hit base.
Two cards that Frank may have a tough time not wanting to resource, but he's got to put down the Fleet Lieutenant. He's got to get to 6 resources and have the option of playing Attack Pod.
Yeah.
He did find another 4 cause, but we've seen it not be quite as successful.
Only 2 cards in hand feels really bad, especially when you have nothing established on board and one of the things you're facing down is a fully full health Vader leader.
Trying to decide if he wants to play the Attack Pod. And decides against the Attack Pod, just goes with
He might be afraid
cause.
of he might be afraid of Power of the Dark Side. But honestly, I think at this point, anything he plays, Power of the Dark Side's coming down and hitting it.
Definitely. Well, the 4 cause definitely hits in a big way this time. 4 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Now 26 damage. On to Gui's base. Oh, vigilance is so big here. Being able to heal 5 and going to discard the top 6 cards from Frank's deck. Sabine will ping for 1. Vader going in for 5. Frank just claims, and Inferno 4 in for an extra 2 damage. $23-24 damage now on Frank's base. Stormtrooper into play as well for Gui, and definitely looks like Gui is going to take this first game in the top 8. Frank just contemplating things, making sure there's nothing he can do. And Power of the Dark Side coming down after the attack pod, and Frank will scoop it up here in game 1. Gui with the early lead in the top 8. Very well played game. Frank was off to a pretty good start early, but Gui once again stabilizing. Blue Vader taking the first game. What are we thinking, guys? We thinking that Vader's gonna get there? We getting Vader into the top 4? Yeah, Vader looking strong. Did it come to a surprise to you guys in chat? Was it a surprise to you to see no Iden in the top 16?
Yes, it did.
You back with us, Max?
I hope so. I don't know what is up with this app, but it does not like me at all. Hey, everybody. How you guys doing? I'm back.
Max is back.
Yes, sir. I think what it was is the game was just so good and so overpowering and overwhelming that it crashed my app. So you guys are just in for an absolute treat that you guys get to watch this without your devices crashing. So did Vader end up taking it? I felt bad because that was like a really good one, and I felt like it was like really like he was about to like put the nail in the coffin, and I just didn't get a chance at the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah, Vader looked super strong in that game.
What's in Han lose to in 16? I think I want to say Sabine. Could be mistaken.
Yeah, pretty sure it was Sabine. I think it was none other than Richard's Sabine.
Yeah.
And we all know how good. Richard's been on a tear in this tournament.
Let me hop back into Best Coast.
So getting started for game 2. I think Gui had to take a quick break. So we should be starting back up very shortly.
Would you consider Vader like a top deck in this meta?
That's tough. I mean, what we've seen from it today, you would say yes. I mean,
yeah,
the results really haven't been there coming into this weekend, but what we've seen today, it certainly appears as though Vader is a very good option into this meta.
Yeah. I guess with first majors in North America, it's meta now. It's our meta.
Yeah, absolutely. New meta.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is interesting because for a while there, it was Vader green that you were seeing.
Yeah, 100%.
A lot of
100%.
It was Vader green, and now you kind of see the shift to Vader blue, and Vader blue having some good success.
Yeah, there's just so many good pieces in blue, and I think someone in chat said it, and I think it's a very good way to put it, where it's almost as Vader's now trying to squeeze his way into being in that conversation with Iden and Krennic. He's clearly not as mid-range or aggro, but I definitely think that he's a really good late game, and just Vigilance Villainies is very, very good. Tell me because extra cost an actor.
All right, we're back at the table, ready to go for game 2. Gui with an opportunity to lock up a spot in the top 4. Frank will be able to start with the initiative here in game 2. Well, it's very clear that Frank has played extremely well today. Blonde Sabine all the way into the top 8, but each time we've seen Frank, this is the second time today on stream, things just haven't seemed to go well for Frank.
It's almost like he's cursed on stream. He's obviously a good player. He's made it this well.
Right.
He's made it this
he's
far,
winning
and he's
everything
still
off
playing
stream.
well. Yeah, it's just unfortunate. But that's fair. Some people do get a little camera shy, so it's just a little unfortunate.
Frank
Still
may be
playing
requesting,
out of his mind, though.
Yeah, absolutely. He may be requesting to have his games off camera next tournament.
Yep. Yeah.
Max, your prediction here? Does Gui take it in 2 games, or are we going to see a game 3?
Now that's a really hard question to word it that way. I think if Frank can keep his composure, and really continue to think out his plays, he can definitely go game 3. If he lets the pressure get to him and Gui's able to just honestly open all the outs, I think we could definitely go game 2. And I think Gui takes this. I think he definitely takes the set, but I think he's going to take it 2-0 right here.
Okay. I think we'll see a game 3. I think Frank's going to finally get that win on stream, force a game 3. Showing us the cards that he resourced. Surprise Strike and Rogue Operative. Frank's first 2 resources. And showing us the hand, Spec Force Soldier, Leia, Fleet Lieutenant, and I believe that was Lando. Yep, Lando in hand as well. Yeah, Frank is a fan favorite.
Yeah.
Playing to the crowd here.
He also seems like kind of a cool dude. He always seems to have really good banter with his opponents. Which, again, like we touched on earlier, but it definitely seems like this is such a dope community that all day today, all these guys are playing at such a high level and are clearly competing against each other to try and win this tournament. And the entire time, you would have thought all of them were buddies that they knew from back home that were just like sitting down, just hanging out and playing some cards. And it's something that's really, really cool, and I think it's very special about this community.
Yeah, definitely. You love to see the 2 opponents having a good time. And Frank's going to start with a
his hand's
2-card
not the best.
Turn 1 Leia and Spec Force Soldier.
But he's already almost out of gas.
Yeah, definitely committed a lot of resources to the board early. We'll be down to just 3 cards in hand after resourcing 1 here.
I think Frank's just lucky that Gui doesn't have a Sentinel for ground, because I feel like that would really slow him down a lot.
And Devotion onto Inferno 4. Leia goes into base for 2, and then Inferno 4 immediately going back and taking the 2 damage right back off.
Devotion's a very interesting card in this, because it definitely is just undoing all the Sabine stuff, but only to your base. Sabine's basically going to be doing it to herself the rest of the time.
Yeah, this is very good start for Gui. Inferno 4, Devotion. There's nothing.
Ooh, Fighters for Freedom. That being said, he doesn't have any. He has like 2 cards left in hand still.
Yeah. Nothing Frank is doing right now. It's going to slow down that Inferno 4, and the Restore 2 each turn is going to be a big deal. So Gui with the initiative.
That devotion might win this
Sentinel.
game. That's so crazy. Yeah, this is gonna be oh my
And
oh.
it's another big one.
He
It's
is
another really
firing on all cylinders. Holy moly!
another big lieutenant. Definitely not what Frank wanted to see. Lieutenant is a 5/5 and going to be tough to break through. Spec Force soldier is on the board, so he doesn't currently have a way to take the Sentinel away. He does have Fighters for Freedom on the board, which can still go to base.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like Fighters into base, which is only going to net 1 damage as Inferno 4 swings back for 3, healing 2. Now Frank will...
We have Mr. D House in chat. Unplayable legend. Love your content, bro. Keep it up.
Absolutely. Rogue
watch
Operative
Flake as
down
well. How goes
for
it?
Frank. Here comes Sabine. And Sabine just attacking.
Guys is gonna have to start addressing this ground arena. He's clearly pretty okay in space right now, but ground's looking like it's getting a little dangerous over there. We do see the force choke. We do see the open fire. Looks like he's going to resource force choke. Oh, never mind. Resource open fire.
Yeah, I had to think about that one.
5 is definitely better for definitely better than 4.
It certainly is. And now, what does Gui do with the lieutenant?
Swing base, yeah.
Going 5 to base.
Situations like this that Gui's in are very, very good because he's literally using a very big obstacle of a defensive card as an aggressor, and Frank is forced by not only the game plan but by the mechanics of the game to deal with it, and it's allowing him to 1v4 Frank's ground arena.
Yeah, the lieutenant has been absolutely huge in this match.
Yep. Honestly been pretty big all day, like across the board. It's done a lot of work.
Yes, it has. So we get the updated base totals. We got 14 damage on Frank's base and make an opening coming down. Some more heal for Gui.
Oh, yeah. I was very surprised he didn't swing with the Inferno 4 already.
Well, that's a good play for Frank, being able to tap down the Inferno 4 for this turn.
Yeah, he's got to hit Fighters for Freedom. Interesting. Okay. That makes sense because now it forces his other non-saboteur units to attack into him still. Oh, interesting.
Here's the wing leader.
Interesting. I guess he's going to use that to beat over the lieutenant.
Yeah, definitely.
And then he'll bring out Sabine.
Well, he already brought out Sabine, and Sabine just smacked right into Lieutenant for a couple damage, and that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's feel bad. Fighter has Saboteur. Interesting.
Yeah, Fighter's a very good card. Very helpful in being able to get around the Sentinel. So Gui with the initiative. And
I don't think
now
I've
the
ever seen
Fighters
someone
for
look at their
Freedom.
resources as much as Frank does.
Yeah, the Fighters for Freedom is big enough to dodge a trade from the lieutenant, which is great for Frank. Can Frank force game 3? The play is on Gui.
He's at least in a good spot in the sense that Guy's not at 7 resources yet. So I take it Frank honestly has one more turn. I think this is the easiest. I don't even know how to word this. He has one more turn before it is going to become very difficult for him to try and stabilize. If he's not able to stabilize before Vader comes out, and if Vader comes out successfully, Frank's going to be in a very difficult position, especially with only 2 cards. I think that is Lando in hand at least, but obviously he doesn't have enough resources open for it.
Vanquish taking out the Fighters for Freedom. That is a big play for Gui. As Frank down to just Leia on the board.
Damage on Gui looks like 11.
Yeah,
and
just
it looks
11
like
damage
Frank's at
on.
what, 20? Jeez, Frank's already
That's
at
right.
20 damage. And Vader's not even at 7 resources yet. What happened? I guess was the lieutenant. I don't even know why I'm asking.
That lieutenant. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's been putting in work, and he's still on board.
Still on board. And Frank's now in a tough spot. You see his hand. He's got Lando and Wing Leader.
Yep.
The Wing Leader won't protect Leia, right, from to stay on the board. Leia could have traded there, but he decides to just take the initiative.
We do see he also drew another lieutenant, and he does have a 8-drop Palpatine in hand.
Yeah, very good spot for Gui. And here comes the trade.
And here comes the second lieutenant. He's going to be really upset when he sees this come down. Is that a Falcon in hand I see?
Yeah, he did pick up Falcon off this.
I don't think it'd be.
Draw.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it would be the worst play in the world to bring out Vader first, so that Gui can see what Frank's gonna do and then record and then react accordingly.
Yeah.
Here, I'm just swinging base.
K2SO in. Yeah, with Frank at 20 damage on base.
Yeah, I'm applying pressure. I'm swinging right here.
You've got to. Yeah, I feel like he's definitely got to go in.
Yep.
And that's what he's going to do. 5 to base, 2 damage to K2SO. And that's going to put Frank 5 damage away from missing out on the top 4. Frank knows he's in a really tough spot.
Mm-hmm.
Because at this point, one more hit from Vader does it.
Yep.
And the Vigilance will come down, take out K2SO, and I'm assuming, is he going to heal the 5 from base?
This has me so excited. I know I'm going to go. As soon as this tournament's over, I'm going to look up Guy's list, and I'm just going to totally change my Blue Vader and just basically mimic his, because this list is awesome. I've enjoyed watching him every time we watched him today.
Gui is, this list is looking very strong. That's going to do it. Frank's going to scoop it up.
Yes, sir.
Gui is victorious.
GG's.
Blue Vader moving on to the top 4. Congratulations to Gui. Frank just couldn't quite get it done.